No, no. Oh,
Too late. Too late. Too late.
Too
Where are
I
you
late.
myself
going?
get right back.
But you what? Where are you going? Okay, so we get started live broadcasting. Then Miguel right then decides he's just going to chicken out. It is what 9 o'clock on June 28th. There are okay. So is there 1 or 2 days left in the Steam sale? I'm unsure because it says that like tomorrow's the last day that points will be counted for their competition type thing. But but it says that the sale ends on the 30th. So
So it'll probably last 2 more days.
I guess yeah. So I guess it gets done like at noon on. So, but last day deal stuff happened tomorrow, right? That's when all the like flash sales and everything happen. I don't know.
On the
I
last
haven't.
day, yeah.
Yeah. So
Which is which is hard for me because the 30th is the day I get paid, so I'm waiting for the
ouch.
yeah. So I'm hoping
I,
that all the good stuff come back on the 30th.
I kind of lucked out and I found that I had a paycheck that I totally had forgot to cash. And I'm like, oh, I have way more money than I thought I did.
It
I'm
must
gonna
be
buy
nice
some
to be
games.
you, someone who can forget a paycheck.
What can I say? Male, middle class, and white. Kind of hard to beat that. Um,
I
have you guys?
mean, you could add gay on the end of that, but whatever.
No, I mean, but okay.
Higher
Um,
disposable income.
yeah, I don't know. I'm like single now too, so completely, all my disposable incomes. Have you guys found anything though on like the Steam sales that's happened that you like? Because I mean, I picked up a few things, but anything of note?
Well, DJ?
Counter-Strike Global Offensive, I picked that up for a few bucks. I did really like the Far Cry sale where they sold Far Cry 1, 2, 3, and Blood Dragon, I think all for maybe $10.
I keep
That was
seeing
really
Far
nice.
like Blood Dragon go on sale, and I keep oscillating between if I should pick that up or not. I've
You
got it on the
should.
Xbox, but
You
yeah, I
should.
probably should.
Because it runs way better on PC. Same for Far Cry 3. That was actually a good port by Ubisoft.
I mean, like everything I've played, just well, except maybe Deadly Premonition. I got that last night for on a whim because it was cheaper, and it runs terribly, and I've had to do all sorts of witchcraft to get it to run right. But
Yeah, I
that game
really
is
wish
bizarre.
I really wish either Valve would take the initiative and find the patches to make games work, or give you a little warning before you buy something that this game currently does not run with most modern computers, and you'll probably have to do some modding to get it to work.
I've only had that happen like twice. It's been with Deadly Premonition and Vampire
Masquerade.
Masquerade.
Right?
Yeah, that game you have to get a patch off of some weird website to get it to work. But
Yeah,
um,
I had the
but
problem with Jedi Outcast.
yeah, that game is. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of KOTOR 2. But yeah, yeah, Outcast I guess has been out for is because that's a game that's running on like the Quake 3 engine and
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
early 2000s.
Mhm.
It's old.
I don't know. Steam sale for me now has been more like picking up old games that I just don't have for some reason, as opposed to buying new games. Like I got Deus Ex, the director's cut. I'm probably gonna get Resident Evil 6 again because it'll be cheap just for the Mercs mode. Witcher 2 for like $3 or $4, which was a good deal. Um, all sorts of stuff. Wolfenstein was probably the newest game, and that was half off, which was nice. And Watch Dogs, but I don't know. It's like only $10, $15 off.
There's been a lot of negative news surrounding Watch Dogs. Did you want to talk about that at all?
I've just not finished that game at all, and like I am so burnt out on open world stuff right now. They've got like so much of GTA on Steam right now for super cheap, and I just have want nothing to do with it at all. That game is like it is just every single Ubisoft game like congealed into this one soulless formation that's just not very fun to play.
So do you
Unfortunately.
think, since EA likes to make a lot of action games, do you think Ubisoft is going overboard with the open world stealth games?
Uh, I mean, it's like Assassin's Creed by far was their most successful thing, and that has minor amounts of stealth. And it's like, okay, might as well, because that's essentially what that game is baseline Assassin's Creed and like what modern day with a little bit of parkour, a little bit of Splinter Cell stealth, the towers and stuff from Far Cry. It's just, I don't know. At this point, I feel like Ubisoft's almost supplanted EA in terms of like companies that. Uh, just think that are not trying that hard anymore.
When they announced the Unity
Hmm.
at E3, or not announced it, but when they showed us how the game worked and stuff,
Hmm.
I just it just looks like so much more of the same. Like they're annualizing this game and they're spreading
Yeah.
out all these updates so thinly.
Yeah, it's hard for me to argue with there. It's like it's mainly just the multiplayer campaign stuff, and that the
And oh man,
animations look really nice.
but it costs too much in resources to make female animations.
Just
That
every
is-
every company's pretty much come out and sort of like debunk that in some way, shape, or form. And then like my favorite is like Sunset Overdrive saying that you can make a male or a female character, and they show a female character in like an Assassin's Creed like costume. So,
I mean, it's like either that is the biggest lie Ubisoft has ever told, or they're mishandling their resources so much that they really can't be bothered to make a female character model, and I don't buy that.
Well, after they said that about the female characters being incredibly resource intensive, I was just like, at that moment, I was like, you are now officially EA. Like, that was the most BS thing I've probably heard in a while that wasn't from EA.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I haven't been excited for an Assassin's Creed game in a long time, and like I think 2 was the last time I genuinely had some good fun with that. And then I'm not even like it's Far Cry 4. Once again, like it looks like a good setting for the wingsuit, I guess, and that's about all I can think of. Yeah.
Yeah, I still don't understand what was going on with the whole racist controversy surrounding the villain. I mean, he's the villain. Who cares if he's racist or not? You're not meant to like the guy.
Well, it was the image was essentially like everybody assumed that the villain was white, and that it was essentially a white guy basically putting a minority in a like lower spot. So it was, yeah.
I mean, it also speaks to the obsession, especially in America, of everything needing to be politically correct. Like, why can't there be a racist villain on a cover of a game? It's a villain. Like, why is this an issue? Like,
I mean, I feel like it's not even restricted to America though. Like you can literally like Wolfenstein, for example. There's some videos out of the New Order and how that's censored over in Germany to take out all the swastikas.
well, the thing about the thing about that is, ever since World War II in Germany, any Nazi anything is illegal.
Oh,
Yeah.
you can't. It's illegal to even deny the Holocaust there.
I mean, yeah, absolutely, but it's like that's an actual historical event, but they still don't want you to reference it. Racism in America is an actual historical event, and people like, it varies too. Like I can remember when Django Unchained came out, and Spike Jonze was all like, it shouldn't be making light of the historical event or something like that. And so yeah, I don't know. Racism is bad. That's all I got. But yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. So on the topic of like Steam, back on Steam sales real quick, just because it's like the biggest thing and it's gonna be done pretty soon. A lot of people have been pretty underwhelmed with what's been like on the Steam sales stuff. Like, have you guys remember Steam sales where you've gotten better value than this?
There just weren't a whole lot of games that interested me this time around. Likewise, though, I feel like there were a lot of repeat sales.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I've never been impressed by Steam sales. I've always kind of like kept up with them, but I'm just like, oh, whatever. Like, I've never gone crazy about a certain game being on sale or whatever, but I normally buy one game that's on sale. Like this year, I bought Borderlands 2, like the GOTY.
Yeah, I got that as well. It seemed like a pretty good deal. Although I bought
$10.
all of it. I bought that game and all of its DLC on the 360 at full price, and eventually I burnt myself out on it. But oh my god, it runs so much better than
I know that's why I got it on PC, because I know it was going to run infinitely better than on PS3, Xbox 360, and PS Vita.
Oh god, yeah, the Vita version is just
which is surprising. Like it's so bad. Like I mean, the game isn't bad, but it runs very poorly and it's very low quality. But it's such a big seller. Everyone's buying it, and everyone who's bought it loves it.
I mean, I know that the bundles have been doing really well. Like they've been a noticeable uptick in Vita sales, as many as it's still not hitting PSP numbers or anything like that. It's nowhere near the 3DS, but it's still looking better. I don't know, at this point, do you think that it's safe to call the Vita a failure, essentially, for Sony? I think it's only sold maybe 1/20th of the units that the PSP has sold so far.
I wouldn't consider it so much of a failure because I feel like a lot of these producers of like hardware expect these outrageous numbers. Like they're kind of expecting their device to be like a hit for whatever reason, and they expect that to result in millions of sales. And while that may be true for the 3DS, that's not true for the Wii U. So it feels like it's these little like social niches that get carved out almost arbitrarily, and that is what results in sales. I feel like the PS Vita is, I mean, it's not selling as much, but I like that it exists, even if it's just in like an accessory for the PS4, and it also provides games that the 3DS wouldn't be able to play anyway.
I mean, I know you have one, and you really like yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it's still, like I said, the numbers are still pretty darn. I mean, it's not like Sony is like gonna go out of business because of it or anything.
It's
like that.
like it's not selling as well, but it's not like it's as bad as like the Ouya or something. Like it's not selling poorly. It's just not selling as well as the competition.
I mean, it's like it's not as bad as the Ouya, but it's definitely not like a Virtua Boy or anything like that. I mean, we can keep going down like levels here. But,
well, I mean, like what other devices exist in that same space? It's just if you're not counting mobile, there's just the 3DS.
And mobile phone. Yeah, I feel like the mobile phones probably is another thing that sort of took a big bite out of its potential sales.
I don't think the PS Vita was even mentioned during the Sony conference.
It was.
Year. It was?
Like for a minute.
It must have been very
It was, I think it had like a 6 or 7 minute like spiel, but then right after that was Powers. That took like 20 minutes.
Maybe that's what it was, because as soon as Powers started coming on, I just completely like went brain dead. I might have forgotten if it ran into that. So
it was like a 10 or 15 minute period of time where no one at the Sony conference was talking about games, and you kind of just zone out and forget.
Yeah, it's oh my god, don't pull an Xbox.
At least Microsoft talked about games at their conference.
No, Microsoft had a really good press conference.
Microsoft kind of set the bar really, really low for themselves last year.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous to have expectations that Sony was going to do this year what they did last year. But I still feel like they could have made the conference a bit more interesting.
I'm pretty sure they did just about the same as they did last year, but the difference is that all three companies, like Nintendo, Microsoft, and Sony, they all kind of came out the gate in very similar ways, and so it almost feels like E3 was kind of muted in that there wasn't a single like huge person. I think that Nintendo won E3, but
yeah, I mean, as all the weeks pass by.
That seems to be the consensus online, as I've seen. Nintendo seems to have done the best.
But that's whatever. It's just I just feel it's not so much that any of the companies themselves didn't do well, didn't do poorly, but E3 I feel like doesn't have to. Like E3, I feel like is in this process of becoming irrelevant. Yeah, especially with like Nintendo Direct and stuff.
There's talks about it moving cities again in 2016 or something like that. Which, after the first initial E3, it did have a 2-year stint in Atlanta before moving back over to California. But yeah, you're probably right. Nintendo keeps showing off that like the streaming stuff that they're doing is still, just as good, if not better, than being on the show floor and having your own press conference. I want to see more like it was nice to get like little bits and pieces of E3. Like you talked about the Destiny beta alpha last week, and I played a little bit of Hardline, and you apparently got much better into the deal. But it would be cool to see more demos and stuff like that come as things get announced.
Destiny beta being on Xbox 360 and Xbox One.
Yeah, it's coming out in July, so next month, and that probably means it'll also be out on the Sony stuff as well.
Well, yeah, like it's going to be out on PS4 and PS3, I think, on July 17th, and then they said for Xbox and Xbox One, or Xbox 360, Xbox One, it'll be later that month, but they didn't set a time.
Right. What do you got? Another thing down here on this. It actually costs less than $500 million.
Yeah, the people at Bungie came forward, and there's been all these rumors about Destiny costing $500 million and it being the most expensive game ever made and stuff. And then the guy comes out and he's just like, yeah, Destiny costs nowhere near as much money as that to make, guys. You need to calm down.
Lol.
And then in the same announcement, he mentions how Peter Dinklage, the voice for the Ghost, sounded very like the voice didn't exactly match the little digital device, which is something I complained about in the last week. And apparently they're addressing that and saying that there's going to be a new voice rework for the beta, and it might carry over into the full release or something.
Did you see the special shirts that
the wizard
alpha
came from the moon?
Came from the moon. Yeah, those shirts that apparently those have sold like gangbusters for Bungie. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you could capitalize on a brand new internet meme when it's at its peak in popularity, wouldn't you?
No. Yes. I mean, yes, I would.
So does that mean Peter Dinklage won't be in Destiny, or that he's simply redoing his lines?
Apparently, those lines they just put into the alpha. They threw it into the alpha without processing it at all. They just recorded it, trimmed it, threw it into the game. Apparently, it's starting to go through more processing and stuff.
This is starting to sound a little bit like the whole Silent Hill debacle of
oh my
voice.
God, Silent Hill HD.
People, who can't hear post processing. We just threw a WAV file in, etc. So.
I mean, this is the alpha, remember, not a full release.
I'm sorry, my bad.
It's not even the beta.
Miguel, I'm not your Mary. But I can if you want me to be.
He's here for you.
I am.
I remember watching all this with you, Kevin, I think.
It's a good, like, in terms of some of my favorite stuff that's on YouTube, like, I would love to do...
It's a wonderful train wreck.
Yes, it is. It's so well done, and it's so funny, and yeah.
FYI, we're not talking about the game. We're talking about the criticisms about the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure but yeah, I'll put a link somewhere. The Twin Perfect's Silent Hill HD collection critique stuff, which is just a full-length documentary essentially, but it's so good. Tell me about this Last of Us PS4 bundle.
Apparently, they're coming out with a PS4 bundle with The Last of Us, which is one of the I guess quintessential games of 2013 for the PS3. And it's coming in as an HD remake. And apparently this is going to set the precedent for several other bundles, because in September, whenever Destiny comes out, there's going to be a Destiny bundle as well.
That's the one that comes with the white PS4?
The marble white PS4 that looks like it was made from the hands of God himself.
Okay, sure, whatever. Just
wait, it's pretty.
It's like this is like the exact inverse of what happened with the Xbox. It comes out. I have it right here, actually, underneath my TV. The initial completely white Xbox. Then you had the black Elite Xbox.
Well, yeah, it's the new hotness.
The new hotness is essentially just like whatever color I came out with, now completely inverted. Okay, you got it.
Seriously, I don't understand what the company fetishes are for white consoles and black consoles.
Well, I mean, those are the most neutral colors that you can get, and they fit very well in any entertainment system.
Bring back the purple GameCube.
There you go.
Oh my God, I
orange
just love
spice GameCube.
I was the kid that walked around school when we would have a game day. I would walk around school holding the grip of the
Yes,
GameCube
of the
and walking
GameCube.
around.
It had a handle on it, and that thing was indestructible.
Yeah, oh, like people tripping over the cords back in the day when there were cords on controllers. Oh wait, Xbox. Whoops.
Yeah. Yeah, I can remember having a little screen on my GameCube that you could just flip open, and that was great for traveling and such.
Oh yeah, the portable screen. But I
Yeah.
think back then, all three consoles had something like that. I remember my PS1
It was like
having
Mad
something like
Catz or
that.
something made it, but yeah.
Back when Mad Catz was mediocre.
I mean, they still are pretty mediocre. They're like making an Android console now, I think, still. So
I don't know about much of their stuff, but Mad Catz has over the last like 4 or 5 years, they've gotten into the business of making arcade sticks for consoles, and those arcade sticks are regarded as extremely high quality and very good value.
I guess they had to get something right eventually. But in
I
my
was just
mind, Mad Catz
surprised.
is synonymous with like every single peripheral for any kind of game console or portable handheld. Like, you don't need it, but if you wanted it for some reason, like, you know, a magnifying glass on your Game Boy with huge speakers and a joystick or whatever.
You never wanted to be that guy that was playing a two-player game and you were the one with the Mad Catz controller.
It depends. It depends. I did have a Mad Catz GameCube controller that had a turbo button on it that you could actually map to any of the buttons, and it made Mario Party pretty hilarious when you could just hold down the A button and just and your character would rapidly hit something.
See, you say Mario Party, and that's essentially my trigger for like having my hand flare up and remember like losing the palm, like the base palm of my skin on my hand from just rotating that damn stick.
I'm sorry, I had to bring up painful memories for you. I'm so sorry.
Shy Guy essentially just like abusing me. How much is the?
They did make some great guitar peripherals for Rock Band, though.
Yeah.
Like the bass, the guitars, the drums.
I just remember the Les Paul guitar, but that was the official thing that came with Guitar Hero 3.
Yeah.
How much is the Last of Us bundle priced at?
I don't know.
Probably $450 would be my guess.
I would think so. And like there have been rumors of a PS Vita PS4 bundle being a thing, but it hasn't been confirmed, and they're just kind of Sony is kind of saying that we're kind of interested in that. That's not a bad idea.
I'm seeing it listed as that can't be right.
What is this?
Well, the PS3 bundle with Last of Us is $269.
Yeah, but it's like last year's hotness or whatever.
Right. Probably $429 would be
$30 for, because I know that The Last of Us HD is going to not be a $60 title. It's going to have a price reduction.
Oh yeah, it'll probably be like 40 or 30. It wouldn't actually be that surprising too if you didn't actually get a physical disc with the console. Instead, you got probably a download code because more and more things.
It's £429 or euros rather. So and those prices tend to be the same as over here. So it'd probably be around $430, $440. I mean, okay. I'm not saying that that £430 equals $430.
I know what you're saying, but like just how they end up converting the prices. But yeah, it seems like an alright deal if you don't have one and you haven't played I still haven't played Last of Us, and I
don't have a way to.
Yeah, I've been, but I keep thinking that I'm probably am gonna pick up a PS4 at some point if I stop spending all my stuff on Steam sale games.
Apparently, it's still the new hot. It's 5 months straight of outselling the Xbox One.
Yeah, Titanfall was not the like save all catch that everybody was hoping it was going to be for the Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Titanfall, but since the game shipped with just not enough content attached to it, it just isn't the console killer that I thought. That
it was great.
Microsoft thought.
Yeah, it was great for like a hot week, and some of that may have gotten sapped away from me, like playing some of the beta. So right. I'd say I probably played a good 2 weeks worth of it, and I've completely dropped it. I am so annoyed when Origin tells me that it's updated and I can play Titanfall now. I'm like, thanks, guys.
Yeah, eventually I just logged out of Origin.
Hopefully, see, I was just concerned when everyone was ecstatic, like just incredibly elated that a new game was coming out that looked really fun, and that they just like it was published or whatever by EA, and just people just kind of like whatever, it's whatever. I was like, EA, come on guys, they screw everything.
Well, it was just them publishing. It was Respawn Entertainment. I mean, and like
There are things that they should have learned from Call of Duty that they just didn't input into this game, like private lobbies. Like,
yeah,
really? You couldn't bother to do that?
they could have done a better job with the progression stuff. There's really not a good enough incentive to whatever the Prestige is calling. What do you call it?
Regen?
Yeah, regen. No customization on your Titans either, which just seems like a gimme. Whatever. Titanfall 2 will probably be great, and that campaign is just whatever.
It's pretty weak. None of the characters you really care about. There is one guy who looks like Sir Davos from Game of Thrones, but other than him, it's like Spyglass, and yeah, that's about it. That's all I can tell you about the campaign.
If the game was like on sale for $20, I'd say pick it up because it's there for multiplayer.
It's fun. It's just very expendable fun.
So let's see.
How much
This
did
week,
the game cost when it came out?
$60.
Do
Pretty
you
sure.
think it was worth $60?
No.
Probably not.
you
40
think-
maybe.
Would you think that this game is one of those apparently non-existent mid-range titles?
It could have. I mean, yeah. Chip off $10-20. I think it's probably a little bit more appropriate price, just because, like, the single player is so not a thing. It is like
It's
it
something
is just
you
a
do
reskin
because-
multiplayer.
It's something you do because you have to. Because if you don't, you don't unlock all the Titan chassis.
Right, and you probably get more value out of it the more people you play with. Like when me and DJ were playing, it was good when it was me and him. If we'd found some more people to make out a good team, it probably would have gone better. But I mean, there's some good ideas in there, and when they do the sequel, inevitably, I'm sure that probably will be, better.
It's probably going to do much better since it's going to be on PS4 as well.
Well, yeah. So I mean, making it more available and stuff is always good.
Yeah.
How did we get on Titanfall?
DJ. I'm blaming DJ. I'm pretty sure it was DJ.
Okay.
It's my fault
Okay.
somehow.
So this week it got announced that Platinum is making a Legend of Korra game for download, and I'm pretty excited about that.
So the new season just started today, or yesterday rather.
Mm-hmm.
Book 3, I think, and I haven't watched it yet, and I'm so upset with myself. I am so excited for that game.
I have not finished book 2, and I need to because it started out pretty strong, and yeah. It's one of those series that is pretty easy to binge watch as well, so I don't feel bad about like leaving it off for a little while. But yeah, I love Platinum, and Korra stuff is great, so there's a lot of potential there to be some good stuff as well.
When I first found out that there was going to be a Legend of Korra game on consoles, I was like very dismissive because I don't really expect any kind of like video game of a show or a movie ever being good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a couple that have been, but those are very few and far between. But then as soon as they said, I find out that Platinum was making it, then all of a sudden my fanboy in me just exploded, and I was like, ah, it better not be bad.
What a great idea.
They're also coming out with a 3DS game, but it's not being made by Platinum, it's being made by someone else, and it's supposedly a turn-based RPG.
Huh. Okay. I'm always like pretty giddy just over pretty much anything Platinum does. Like,
Scalebound?
That is Platinum, yes. And I want to see some actual gameplay of that, but hopefully it will be good.
Yeah.
We just doubled up on that on the list I'm looking at. Okay, so tell me about this change on the PlayStation Plus format.
Well, it's not new. I just wanted to mention that beginning on July 1st. Now, I really like this because they're like Xbox has changed a lot of their policies to compete with Sony, and now Sony is doing the same thing in that now people will be able to download anything available for that month from the very beginning of the month. And so next month you'll have access to Towerfall Ascension and a few other games that I've put on the blog.
So are you going to start doing that regular now? Just every month you're going to update and say, here's what's on the Plus?
Might as well.
Okay, will you do that for games for Gold as well? Can you do that for
I was thinking someone else could do that
free game every week on?
I'm
every
afraid that that I would be incredibly biased against the Microsoft console.
I mean, but some of them are just like third-party games. Like, I think this past month Dark Souls was on the Games for Live Gold. Yeah, and so what are you going to say bad about that? It's like, hey, these are games you get for free, and they're actually pretty good.
No, these are games you get for free, which have already been on the PlayStation Plus for years now.
Yeah.
Spy.
Well, they're getting a little better about making some more modern stuff as opposed to Assassin's Creed 2 and Halo 3.
Xbox games with Gold. There's a couple things that changed with their policy as well. It used to be that you could download a game on Xbox Games with Gold or whatever, and you would have access to that game even if your Xbox Live got suspended for whatever reason, like if you stopped paying or whatever. But now they took a cue from PS Plus, where if you lose your subscription status, then you also lose access to those games.
Yeah, they're almost completely parity in terms of feature set and how they work. The only thing that's better essentially is that PS Plus gives you more games more often than not, and on more platforms as well.
They also, another thing is, Guacamelee is free next month on Xbox Games with Gold, which, that's not to say that it hasn't been free on PS Plus, but it hasn't been free in North America on PS Plus. It's been in other regions it has been, just not in North America.
Do you know if this is the base Guacamelee version or the championship?
I think it's the the GOTY.
Okay, cool.
Because it has like a 5-word long subtitle.
That's good. Guacamelee is great if you're looking for a Metroid game to play. I've been playing there's a fan remake of Metroid 2, which came out on the Game Boy originally, that has been made for the PC and has been on the works for 5 or 6 years now. They have a new demo of it now, and it is so good. I want that game to actually be released, but it's one of those fan projects that probably will never ever actually be done, which is kind of a shame.
At least it's not going to be like Square Enix, where this group of people have been making fan dubs for a Type 0, and then right after they release it, Square's like, yeah, we're releasing an HD version next year.
Pretty much, yeah. Thanks, guys. Couldn't have even hinted or something like that if they wanted to wind down on it, but whatever. There's still plenty of people that are praising that fan translation that got done. So if you want to get it,
hey, you know what else is ridiculous? Final Fantasy Versus 13 being in development since 2005.
Oh yeah, I have said before, not to you, but I feel like any game that is in development for more than 4 years kind of is reaching that
it needs to just
diminishing returns kind of thing, where the longer they spend on it, it gives them more of a chance of fucking it up.
I mean, yeah. Well, Duke Nukem Forever is it's kind of hard to argue that from the late 90s to the early 2000s, you saw perhaps some of the largest iteration and innovation when it comes to how typical game systems change from.
Sure, but it's there comes a time where it's just pick an engine and stick to it. Don't.
Yeah. Sure, absolutely, but George Broussard, it's all I gotta have the new hotness, and that changes to whatever the Quake engine is to Half-Life and so yeah, that was definitely one of the subsequent problems for that. I feel like we've reached a point now where everybody's just using Unreal or some variation of that. You're very hard pressed to find that or CryEngine 3 or something like that. I don't think that the huge leaps and bounds that there have been in the past.
Where Square Enix has its own proprietary engine called the Crystal Engine.
Yeah, made just for Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah, and I think 14 was made in the Crystal Engine as well.
There was that trailer though that came, or the tech demo or something like that. It was the white mage
or.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Wasn't that Unreal as well, or was that Crystal?
I think that was Crystal.
I need to double check. It's been so long since I've seen that. Yeah. but we've already spoke lengths and bounds about Square Enix and how they need to get their act together. Yeah. So okay, you have a Digimon thing on here.
Yeah, so they're apparently making a new Digimon game, which I'm extremely excited for, and it's a female protagonist in a world that's very similar, like it plays very similar to Digimon World 3 or 2, Digimon World 2. And
Those are on the PlayStation, weren't they?
Yeah, those are for the PlayStation 1. So Digimon World, Digimon World 2, and Digimon World 3. This is called Digimon Cyber Sleuth.
Yeah.
And Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth. And when I saw it, I was just like, yes, I need it.
I can't really offer you very much backup here. Like, I watched a little bit of that show when I was a kid, and I have no real attachment to the Digimon series or franchise. So
I have no idea why I'm so excited, but I just am. It probably has more to do with the games, with me playing the Digimon World games rather than the show itself.
hooray!
Yeah.
GameStop is buying Kinects for the Xbox One for $40 a piece.
Well, what else are people supposed to do with the devices that they didn't want in the first place?
I mean, I guess there wasn't going to be a market with it to begin with until there were going to be Xbox One sold without Kinects. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, like, you said this earlier, but there is. So the Xbox One is almost identical to the PS4 now, because they have been stepping back in their policies and kind of like Xbox 180 and stuff. The Kinect is optional now. Games with Gold is basically the same thing as PlayStation Plus or the Instant Game Collection, and there's all these things that the differences are extremely nuanced now, and there was this whole marketing campaign over why one is better than the other, but now you can basically buy either, and I don't understand how that's going to benefit Microsoft.
It benefits them because the choice is no longer clear-cut. It's very gray, and there was so much negative feedback coming from the E3 conference last year and the reveal of the Xbox One that basically people pretty much said, we're not going to buy this with all these restrictions on it. There's just no reason to. There's more negative. There's more of a negative outcome going with the old Xbox One than there was with the policies peeled back.
And I'm kind of like of two minds of this too, because in one respect, it's cool to see that a company is reactive enough to say, hey, this isn't working for us, let's change it. But at the same time, it's like this is a very boring console generation now at this point. Like Wii U has fallen off as being, not super successful. These consoles are almost as homogenized as last generation was, except after the cell processor jump and people finally figured out how to mess with that. Whereas at the beginning of the race, it looked like we have this digital future with touch controls and stuff. It's going to be like Johnny Mnemonic for everybody or something, and then you have sort of the old guard, and now everything is essentially the old guard, more or less.
I just have this feeling that the Xbox One has become extremely similar to the PS4. I guess the reason why I don't think that's going to work in their favor is because if someone were to come up to me and ask, should I get an Xbox One or a PS4, I'll tell them. The first thing I'll say is they're basically the same thing. You can't go wrong with either. It's not like you're choosing between a Wii U and a PS4. There is a big difference between those two with hardware and with the first-party games. But with those two, you can basically pick one and be perfectly fine. However, you can't I would also address that there are more people playing on the PS4. A lot of people that were on Xbox 360 have migrated over to the PS4, and a lot of people now, if you were to go to your friends, they're more than likely going to have a PS4 because it's outsold Xbox One 2-1.
Yeah,
also,
keep going.
There's this whole kind of environment with PlayStation now, and that with PlayStation Now, not to have made that joke, but with PlayStation Now, letting you play any of your PS3, PS4, PS2, that's where they're heading towards with that, and having PlayStation Plus benefit PS3 and PS Vita owners and giving you more incentive to get that. It's almost like Sony has become kind of like this Apple, in that the more you involve yourself in this ecosystem, the more benefits you gain from it.
It's just they've sort of built on each other and being able to make this sort of critical mass here. But have you seen the pricing structure they announced recently for the beta stuff for PlayStation Plus?
Are you talking about the first one or the recent one?
The PlayStation Now, that's what I mean. Like, it's something like $4.99 or maybe $3.99 to play for a game for 4 hours, $7.99 to stream it for 3 days, and $30.
That was very
stream it for a
controversial at
month.
first, but they recently updated it like a week ago, so that now it's actually very competitively priced, and a lot of people that were bitching about it before aren't now. I think now it's like $5 to play a game for an entire month or something, or $10 for an entire month, which is a lot more reasonable than what it was before.
Like most of these are old games and stuff too. Like the example that I was hearing about was Final Fantasy 13-2, for example, and it's like if you wanted to stream the game for a month for like $30, where you could just buy the game for $15 on Amazon.
Yeah, and not have to deal with latency issues and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. It's just it's weird because like there hasn't been as many services like this, so of course they're gonna try to. They don't have a good model to model it after. Like OnLive has been the closest thing.
Sony is trying to do a kind of Netflix meets video games kind of thing, except we kind of people were kind of shocked when they announced the rental component to it, because people assumed that you would pay $15, $20 a month and you would get access to all the games.
Like a subscription service.
Like in Netflix, you pay $8 a month and you have access to all of the video content.
Mm-hmm.
And people, like, that wasn't how it turned out to be. I mean, it's still in beta, so it could turn out to be that way. It's too soon to really tell, but the outrage that the people that were in PlayStation Now beta that they had with the pricing structure has been addressed, and like you said before, it's really interesting to see how these companies are being so much more malleable with their policies and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like, business will end up dictating. If the pricing is so unattractive that nobody buys it, I mean, it's no skin off their back to be able to lower the prices until they start seeing something to make it, like, a good value proposition, or attach it to PlayStation Plus or something. Yeah.
See, I would, in my perfect world, I wish that my PlayStation Plus subscription came with video on demand, music on demand, which is like their music unlimited and video unlimited. That's their music and video service.
Right.
And also this video game streaming for $50 a year. And I'm just like, that's not practical. They would not make any money from that.
I'm surprised they don't have sort of a pick your own plan kind of setup for PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live. You think they would, just to give people more options. More options always attracts more customers.
I mean, so long it was just like, I can remember all the hassle it was when I had Xbox Live Gold, that I'd have to pay for 3 months and then go to their website or whatever to turn off automatic renewal just because they wanted to trap me into paying for more. Just, I don't know. Feels like the Columbia Record House Club or something.
Yeah, that's why I bought the time cards, so they couldn't do that, or so I didn't have to go in and do that every time I wanted live.
I bought the time cards because my credit card got hacked off of that, and then whoever got my credit card bought like $50 worth of FIFA DLC or something like that. And it was so weird. But yeah.
FIFA DLC, of all the stuff they could have gotten.
I don't know what it was. Apparently it was like there's a second-hand market for that or something. But back to your thing you're talking about, Miguel, when you talk, if somebody asks you what console to buy, I'm pretty much with you on it for, like, they are almost exactly the same, with maybe the PS4 being slightly more powerful, though nobody's using that. So, like, this early in the generation, I think for me it comes down, what console exclusives do you like? Are you a big Halo fan? Then you're probably going to want an Xbox One. Do you like Uncharted? Well, there's a new Uncharted coming out, so get a PS4.
But I agree with that idea, but there are fewer and fewer exclusives than there were last generation, and Sony has more exclusives than Microsoft does. But I don't know if I would.
I think it's pretty close now.
No, I'm
Honestly,
pretty sure that
well,
they still have a lot more than
does that
Microsoft,
count?
not counting indies.
It doesn't count indies.
But
Okay.
even counting indies, then it's like indie games are really hard to like kind of number because they just kind of come out of the woodwork.
Right. Right.
And I'm not saying that that's a plus for either. It's just I feel like first party games, unless it's just like Halo, like these monolithic kind of games, they're not
Right.
as important to the purchase, like to the consumer, as they were before.
I mean,
Yeah,
they
I
both
get.
got their handful of like exclusive. I think it just comes down to if like you're sort of a fanboy for one of them. I mean, that's my case right now. While I was leaning towards PS4 initially, it's probably going to be Bloodborne that pushes me over the edge and has me pick that up. And you have any like Halo fans that are still out there. You like, it's pretty tough to tell them no, get the PlayStation 4 because Killzone is leaps and bounds better.
I've heard from a lot of my friends that love like have always played Halo games. They what they've told me is that they are less interested in the new Halo games because they're not made by Bungie anymore.
hmm
And so they don't mind getting a PS4 because Destiny is going to be on the PS4 and it's going to basically be the spiritual successor to the game that they've always wanted to play.
It definitely
Yeah.
feels like a better sort of evolution, whereas Halo 4 was definitely just sort of treading ground and being sort of reactive to a market.
Right. Besides, most people, including myself, at this point, I'm not really thinking about getting an Xbox One because of Halo 5. I'm
You don't
more
want to play
interested.
those Halo 2 maps all over again?
That's why. It's because of the Master Chief Collection.
It's
Not
because of
because
those
Halo 5.
4,000 achievement points on one game for $60.
Oh,
I
and
just
the playlists, the endless playlists.
Do you
I
think
just
the Forge mode for Halo 3 and Halo 4 are going to be in those packages too, or like not accessible for whatever
I'm
reason?
sorry, what? I didn't hear you.
The Forge modes, you remember? Like,
They said Forge would be in each Halo now.
okay.
They also said you can make cross playlists from each campaign. So if you
I
wanted
can
to
play all the flood levels, or I can
all the
better
flood
than that.
levels,
I can play every single escape level on those damn warthogs and miss a jump like 15 times in an hour.
which
So-
also means they must have synonymized the controls for all the Halo games. Because wouldn't that be weird if your controls just change from one level to the next?
I mean, there's not been that big of variance other than like your flashlight button is now
Well, reload used to be on the right bumper, but now that's the melee button.
bumper
That would
jumper.
just be bumper jumper, I guess.
I'm sure that they have probably unified control schemes somehow.
Yeah.
So when they announced the Master Chief Collection, I feel like I was the only one that felt this way, but I've heard that other people kind of feel this way too. But when they announced that, I just felt so incredibly insulted.
Why?
Like, so you can't actually come out with new stuff that you're just going to throw all this old shit together and expect people to like have a fucking orgasm because you're giving us the same shit we've already played all these years. Like that was my first thought when I saw that, and I was just like, well, yeah, it's gonna sell, why not? But I just still found it insulting.
Mainly just because it was like hinted at last year that we were going to get Halo 5 this year, and Master Chief's journey begins in 2015. It's like, no, we didn't say Halo 5 comes out in 2015, not technically, or 2014, not technically. No, it's just the collection.
I mean,
And it doesn't even include ODST and Wars
Yeah.
and whatever the other one is.
God, I do
Reach.
like ODST a lot, but I mean, I feel like this is all like little bits and degrees here because like 10 minutes ago we were talking about Last of Us coming out on the PS4 and how that game is incredible, and like at the time Halo, Halo 2, Halo 3, and Halo 4 were incredible when they came out
I mean,
at their
okay,
respective times.
I see what you're pointing out. Like, there's a bit of hypocrisy there, but like one game is coming out on a new console the next year, and it's like. But the thing is, I just feel like this whole Master Chief Collection was there like ace in the hole. Like, oh, you don't really care about Xbox One, do you? Well, why don't you play all the Halo games that you always love to play? And I'm just like, that's not.
It maybe does feel a little bit more like a Hail Mary, I guess.
I mean, the big turn-on for the Master Chief Collection is people being able to play competitive Halo 2 again like they were able to before the servers were shut down.
Because apparently, what is it? Was it Nublet combo and dual needlers and all that. These are things I need to read. Turf was my favorite Halo map ever, and that is in Halo 2. That's
Is that the one
only
with the
thing.
train?
No,
No, that's
Turf
the
is a
city.
it's a small little city map
Yeah,
with some
that's
back
right.
alleys.
That's
But
great.
yeah, I don't really want to talk about this anymore. I'm like,
I'm
that's not
depressed
enough.
enough as it is.
Right, I like to play a multiplayer version of that map, but like I said, that's not enough for me to pick up a PS4. There are, for me
Xbox One.
anyways, and Phantom Dust though is probably a
Oh,
better,
yes.
stronger argument.
So so my thing about Phantom Dust is I was extremely excited when they announced it, but if you look at it, they don't say that it's an Xbox exclusive. Like, I have a feeling that it's going to come out on PC eventually.
I mean, if it did, that would be great.
Why don't all these games come out on PC? I mean, I don't really know what Microsoft has.
Microsoft doesn't like to make money. I don't know, because they want to try to push their Xbox One a little bit more, so it's not being outsold 2-1. But mainly because they don't
guess.
like making money.
I guess so. Darn.
It's weird. It's weird loading up old games and seeing like Microsoft Studio as a publisher or something like that.
Like Banjo-Kazooie, they totally erased all the Nintendo stuff out of it.
Yeah, pretty much. Now there was something I was out playing recently that had the Microsoft Studio load up, and I can't remember what it was. Oh well. What have you guys been playing recently? That's normally what I open up a show with, and I totally forgot.
I've still just been playing Final Fantasy 14, and I did get Borderlands 2, and I've been playing some of that, but it's not as like I'm just kind of,
Gotta play it with people. You gotta find some time and we should all
exactly.
play together.
But I'm just playing Final Fantasy 14. That's all I've been doing. Getting ready, getting all my jobs up to level 50, getting ready for the 2.3 patch that comes out in a week.
Okay. And what about you, DJ?
Let's see. League, Far Cry, and I've been going on the biggest Mortal Kombat binge since MK9 first came out. I am so excited for Mortal Kombat X.
Did they put a release date on that yet, or is it sometime next year?
They said sometime next year. They haven't given an exact date, but I think what they're doing with each of the characters is pretty cool.
I know with some interviews I've seen with Ed Boon that they have lined up essentially character reveals at the next few major game conference things. Like there'll be a character reveal at PAX. There'll be something probably at Gamescom.
For what game?
Mortal
Kombat.
Mortal Kombat. I am so much more excited for this Mortal Kombat than I have been for any other Mortal Kombat, I have to say.
Really?
Like, the new character designs for the midget and the fat guy and the...
we keep saying midget on this, and I keep feeling like this is somehow not politically correct.
Okay,
but
for the dwarf, I guess.
Short guy would be
Dwarfism.
genius. Yeah,
It's
I don't
either you could call him Master Blaster, or the characters are Farah and Tor.
Okay. Oh no, and okay, Farah and Tor, and then is that one of the names for the bug chick?
The bug lady is Devora.
Okay, so I'm excited for both of them because they look so unique. They're not as rigid and like uninspired characters that they have released in previous.
Wait, are you
Mortal Kombat
telling me
games.
that what Scorpion and Sub-Zero and Reptile and Rain and Smoke and Noob Saibot are uninspired? I'm forgetting a few of these other
Cyborg ninjas.
Cyborg ninjas and Jade
And female ninjas.
and Katana and Melina.
Okay. Granted,
And what
Mortal Kombat.
was the female Sub-Zero that was in Annihilation?
Frost.
Frost.
When I played Deadly Alliance, I loved Frost. I was so upset that she did not come back, and the reason was because Sub-Zero killed her.
Where's Meat, huh? Where's Mocap? Okay.
Where's my
Mocap.
Son of a bitch in a mocap suit. That's what I'm waiting for. I don't want Stryker's daughter. I want mocap too.
Oh, you don't want Cassie Cage taking a page
I want
from the cage.
the fat guy that throws up on everybody.
The Raicho.
Yeah. God, Mortal Kombat Bible right here. Where's Quan Chi? I mean, clearly this is Mortal Kombat 4 Part 2 because we've got weapons back. So where's Quan Chi?
Well, it's not
Not
necessarily
necessarily.
weapons back because in those games you kind of had stances and you would switch between two stances and the weapon wielding stance.
But you just
in
do
this
that
game-
before. You don't do it in the middle.
No, in this game, yeah, you choose one of your three stances as your so it's like you have your character, and then you have three modes of a character, and you choose it like that. Kind of like
This is
how in
like
Street Fighter you choose
this is
your
the
Ultra.
inverse of what Street Fighter 4 just did, as opposed to you can use everything now instead of you only get one super or the other.
Well, in Street Fighter, Ultra Street Fighter 4, they added the option to use both your Ultras, but both your
Reduce
Ultras,
power.
yeah, so their usability is still like a factor. You don't always
Right,
want
but
to use both of them.
as opposed to, but there's still that kind of utility if you need that kind of switch up against a certain opponent. But
Yeah,
I
but
digress.
in Ultra, it's these like 1 or 2 time use specials that you use. It's not an entire move set. A lot of these changes in styles are entire move sets that change. Like you have access to different, like for example, Scorpion. One of his is that he gets a fire demon to fight with him, and the
So
the
he
fire
gets one
demon.
guy to
No,
fight
I mean,
with him in
it's
his
not
back.
like flying around, but it like grabs their feet, and it changes the entire style of how the character plays.
Right. So in a good world, instead of having just like 30 characters, whatever, we essentially have 90 different characters in some way, shape, or form.
I would like it if there was 20 to 30 characters, and then those characters had,
Three
or like not even
styles.
20, 20, that's pushing, that's Marvel numbers, like 15 to 20 characters, and each of those characters having a
How many
different.
were there in 9 after all the DLC was said and done?
I think there was
30.
like 24 or 30.
I
Yeah,
think it was
that sounds.
30,
Freddy
actually.
Krueger.
Yeah. What fighting game? I'm thinking of Kratos, but that was Soul Calibur on.
No, because
PS3.
Kratos was in the PS3 version of Mortal Kombat 9.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ezio was in.
Do you ever miss not? No, Ezio was Soul Calibur as well.
Right.
But no, Kratos was also in a Soul Calibur game. Do you ever miss? Did you ever get a chance to play as Kratos at all, DJ? Because I know, like, since you're a big Mortal Kombat fan.
I know he was overpowered and he was banned from all competitive tournaments just because he
Okay.
was. Well, not only was he really good, but not everyone could get a chance to practice with him.
Yeah, exactly. The precedent for banning characters like that, like in Soul Calibur 4, there was,
27, sorry. 28 if you count Kratos.
there was like Yoda, Darth Vader, and the guy from Unleashed or whatever.
Starkiller was in both versions, though.
He
Yeah.
was. Eventually,
But
Vader.
they were banned even after they were both released. And what is his name?
Starkiller.
No, but that's not what he's called in the game.
And not the Secret. I'm pretty sure in Soul Calibur 4 he's just called Starkiller.
I don't think so.
The Apprentice. I
The
mean,
Apprentice, yeah, the
Okay.
Apprentice. So he was, I don't think he was banned at first, but his moveset is incredibly imbalanced.
Galen
they
and
just-
Eric.
They just threw him together and threw him into the game without playtesting him, and he's really, really strong, and then they just banned him out too, because he doesn't fit the theme of the game and stuff. Like, you could tell that he was an afterthought, and so...
What about Soul Calibur 2? Are Link, Heihachi, and Spawn all just banned as well?
Yeah, because those are console exclusive. But although
So,
in Soul Calibur
What
2,
console do you play the game on then when it's done? I guess before the HD.
I'm pretty sure Soul Calibur 4 was played on PS3 because it's just because the transfer from Soul Calibur 3 being PS2 exclusive was, I don't know, the FGC kind of cycles through these
Is
things.
Soul
Right
Calibur
now,
2 HD on FGC's list?
no, that game was basically considered a flop by the
That's too
FGC as
bad.
well. Yeah, it's like the netcode was terrible,
No,
apparently.
yeah.
and that matters a lot because
And that was a big problem in Mortal Kombat also. MK9, the online was terrible. It was so laggy.
You had a better experience with Injustice, right? For it when you played it on the 360.
Excuse me. Yeah, for the online mode, it was a lot better. But I also like what they're doing with the character variations, just making the game a little bit more balanced. Because in MK9, if you played as any character that didn't have a teleport or some sort of counterattack, you were usually the underdog.
which,
It was
to say something of that, it almost in MK9, when I say about characters feeling uninspired, almost everyone in that game had had some sort of teleport, and for no reason. Like Katana could jump up in the air, fly to the other side of the screen, and fall back down. Like, why can't she do that? And like everyone kind of like blah blah blah, and then were there all of a sudden. I was, oh god, it looked very clunky. The animations were very rigid. No, couldn't handle it.
The only thing I can say that I'm like really optimistically looking forward to on MKX, because I'm not a huge Mortal Kombat fan. Like I had a good time with MK9, is the campaign mode, because the NetherRealm Studios still do by far the best campaigns for any fighting game out there.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, aren't they like the only thing that does? I mean, I guess Tekken has that kind of.
I mean, there's plenty of fighting games that have campaign modes that are just essentially arcade ladder, essentially, that you play through, but that one actually tried to do a story. Tekken does it like on your 4th, 7th, and last fight, there'll be extra story quips or something like that.
Yeah, but yeah, MK, as far as I know, and Injustice are the only ones that have a full story, or even just...
Injustice had a good story, too.
It did. I really liked Injustice's story. I didn't like I liked Mortal Kombat's story. I didn't really like Injustice as much because they did a weird alternate timeline.
It was an alternate universe. None of this matters. No consequence.
Right. Whereas with Mortal Kombat, though, they reset the timeline.
Oh, God. I don't know. Which is worse?
Well, I mean, Ed Boon has actually said, gone on record, they had a lot of fun doing MK9 and just redoing a bunch of different stuff. And, like, it was fun to see, hey, Robo, Sub-Zero this time around is like a timeline change thing. So
it would be, I hope that they kept a bunch of the, like, themes the same, like how Sub-Zero... Well, no, they did do that, because Robo Sub-Zero was the original Sub-Zero, and then this Sub-Zero is like this Sub-Zero's brother. So, yeah, okay. So they're keeping the themes... like the important themes the same, but then changing the context of the story.
Like, when you talk about themes from Mortal Kombat, I essentially think it's just violence, Earth Warriors, NetherRealm heroes, stuff like that.
How
character relations are probably more what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Liu Kang and Katana are always supposed to be like a thing. Apparently, Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade are now a thing.
Yeah, they had a baby fights too.
They were a thing. It's just that Johnny Cage spent 20 years in the friend zone. The timeline had to get reset.
So they were the like fallback guy. Whenever they turned 40 or 50, they would marry each other if they found no one else.
Yes.
There you go.
And since Armageddon
barely lost
didn't
out
happen,
against the guy with 4 arms. Yeah. So MKX.
I'm excited for it for once. It plays. So NetherRealms made Injustice, and Injustice did everything right that NetherRealms always messes up. Like, it made... The combo system was very loose and fluid. It wasn't as rigid as the animations in Mortal Kombat 9. Supers and how you could invest your super meter into upgrading your abilities or playing defensively was also very important, and how the interactions didn't swing the game as badly as in some other games. And I just think that they did so many things right in Injustice, and they're taking a lot of the Injustice design and putting it in Mortal Kombat X or 10. And I just feel like they're getting their shit together, and they're actually making a good game.
I mean, they would be silly not to, essentially, if they learned some stuff. Do you think there'll be character-specific power things like the way there were in Injustice?
Not exactly the way that they are. In Injustice, it was one character ability, and that was it. Like, with the Flash, you could speed up time. With the Joker, you could parry. With Nightwing, you could change stances.
Right.
I think
apparently they're bringing back the block button.
Okay.
But, I like those sort of weird passive things around how you play it. Like those felt very MOBA-esque to me. Like, these are extra ways to flavor your character, and these are how you should. These are a suggested way that you play it.
But on the competitive side, those, even if it's just a small little passive, they can sometimes be make all the difference in if a character is good or not.
Aquaman. Friggin' Aquaman. Oh my god.
Well, so for example, Harley Quinn, she has her passive, for all intents and purposes, her passive is good. The reason why it's bad is because it's random.
Right.
You cannot guarantee which one you're going to get.
And we never like randomness when it comes to competitive.
No, you don't like tripping in Brawl. No one likes that. I've yet to meet a person that enjoys when they trip. I mean, I know plenty of people that enjoy when their opponent trips.
Right.
I remember losing a tournament because I tripped.
Did you hear about the recent stuff they've talked about for Brawl? Remember I told you last week about the Mii fighters and how they're all going to have a bunch of different moves that you can customize?
Yes.
Well, now apparently that system is also going to be on the other fighters as well. And I don't know if that's just for fun mode or if it also transfers into for
It
the
has to be, or that would be so broken.
Yeah, I would think so. But yeah,
I'll tell you, when I get my money this summer from school and from work,
when I finally
will
get paid,
to get a Wii U. Yeah, when I finally get my money from, like, when I finally get paid.
Money that they said they were going to give me. I mean, you know, schools are good for it.
The Wii U seems like so much more of a value now than it's ever been before.
As long as you are fine with Nintendo games, and by far Nintendo still has the strongest sort of first-party lineup out of any of the consoles out there, then I say go for it.
Like, and I love Dynasty Warriors and Hyrule Warriors, being able to play as Zelda.
Hyrule Warriors is starting to look more and more attractive to me, which is
I know, like,
really
at first
weird
I was
for
like,
me
this
to
is stupid.
Like, I cannot wait to get my hands on the soundtrack, if only for the radio show, because it'll be some pretty good Zelda remixes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, oh no, there was something else that Bayonetta 2 still looks incredible. Yeah.
I just, because I remember when I found out that Bayonetta 2 was coming out on the Wii U, I said, I need several reasons to get a Wii U, and that's not Bayonetta 2 for me to get that console. And then they come out with like this gorgeous Legend of Zelda tech. It wasn't even a tech demo. Apparently, it was the in-game engine.
Yeah, but that's still probably a ways off.
I know, but I'm just like, oh my god, like Mario Kart 8, so I can play with my boyfriend.
So apparently, like Mario Kart 8 has been really responsible for selling out like the bundles and such, like the Wii U at a lot of different places, to the point now where it's really hard to like, it's for the next month or two, it's going to be kind of hard to find a Wii U at any kind of regular retail outlet.
Well, I'm planning on buying a refurbished Wii U from the Nintendo store, because they sell them at subsidized prices, and they come with like a warranty as well. So
the warranty can be somewhat deceptive.
It can be, but it's better than buying it at like GameStop.
I guess. I mean, yeah, you get a better. You probably get around the same use price, and the warranty will probably matter for more. Yeah, we got on a whole fighting tangent type thing, which is cool. Let's see, real quick. I picked up a bunch of stuff on Steam sales. I've been playing Heroes of the Storm and Hearthstone, Witcher 2, Deus Ex, and Shovel Knight, which I got yesterday, and that game is incredible.
Is it like, really?
It's essentially just like Mega Man 2 and Castlevania kind of all mixed up together into this awesome sort of... It looks and feels sort of like something that would have been on the NES, but it has some of these old design sensibilities, and some of those are really, really, really good. Like you just don't see in modern games, and it does so many like really smart things. It's a great looking game.
I hope it like kind of sets the precedent for what indie games can be in the future.
Right, and it's just like I don't normally even get on like old school pixel art type stuff, but the aesthetic works so well for what it's trying to do. Oh, and DuckTales. I could have DuckTales. It like does that pogo stick thing, and it does it so well. I have about like maybe 2 or 3 hours of me playing it on Twitch right now that I did yesterday. I don't think I got anybody to watch because we are still needing to gather more people to watch our stuff. But you can
the blog.
Yeah, you should do more Final Fantasy posts just because apparently that's what people want to hear.
Did you see how many hits it got?
I was looking at the map on that, and for a second I'm like, we have readers in Alaska? I'm like, no, wait a minute. Analytics are just posting the United States along with Alaska, of course. Yes, we got quite a few more page views than we normally do. So
yeah, so I like one post, and it's just like all of a sudden over 1,000 views.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So
Square Enix can improve
PvP.
Geez.
Yeah.
That's extensive.
And it was. I mean, I'm always great to see more traffic, and like we should always write and put up more stuff. Like I'm gonna, now that the video switching on this is actually gonna work, I'm gonna post this up on the page. your post was really well formatted, which I really like. So yay, you know how to blog. DJ knows how to blog now too. So
Yeah,
trained to
but
get a
none of the
camera.
stuff I posted looks nearly as good as what you posted, Miguel.
Yeah, he's got like a whole essay thing going on there, and like if you want to come up with a history of something, like
Yeah, but he's
just
got pictures. He's got. Geez,
Yeah.
you've got the sections all labeled. That's like super professional looking. Much
You
better
should-
than
you should try it
anything I
sometime.
put up.
I
I
try.
should.
What can I say? I try. If I'm gonna do something, I might as well do it well.
I should. I did number everything when I talked about the Microsoft press conference, but it was very quick and dirty compared to what
The
we did.
E3 stuff was quick and dirty because we just wanted to get it up like as soon as the press conferences were
While
either
it was
going on or
relevant.
after. Yeah, so and that's kind of hard to blame. Like you'll see, even IGN, for example, essentially will just run a Twitter feed of what they're watching as the show goes on.
That is
So-
very true.
So I'm just gonna say this: that I applied to become a leader member of my free company, which is a guild for Final Fantasy 14, and I used that blog post as a part of my application.
You bastard!
Yeah,
No, it's cool.
and I
That's
got
what
accepted.
it's an online resume, man.
Yeah. No, if anything, now we've attracted his entire company now to come read the blog regularly because they think that Final Fantasy stuff will be there with any regular, and
Hopefully.
even though he's the only contributor.
The important
Um,
thing about stuff like that is you have to update it regularly.
Yeah, I mean that's how it is for anything. That's the only reason people ever go to gaming websites now is because they have staff members that regularly update stuff. And now I can't pay you guys, but eventually you show this off to some website or something like, hey, I can write, hooray! Or I know how to talk and I can video produce, which this is the laziest form because there's not going to be like titles on there or anything like that. It's YouTube doing all the video switching for me because Hangouts are awesome.
We should go work at Giant Bomb because it looks hilarious.
So they just got some of their members moving out to New York. They basically have opened up a very small New York office, and they've talked about hiring more people, which is, I don't know. I listened a bunch to Jeff Gershman for like advice and stuff about how to get into industry, essentially into like game review industry stuff right now. And this is what I need to be doing. Apparently, it's like you can get a college degree, and that's all nice and dandy, but you should be like writing every day. You should be putting video content up and just like get an audience.
You should prove that you can do it before you try to apply for it.
Right, like this is essentially the best kind of resume. So, what I really need is I need more help from you guys to like be able to.
I will help
and
you
do-
get that job that I want.
Thank you. Good. That's good. And you can just live vicariously through me. That would be awesome.
See, I wouldn't mind getting a job in that kind of industry because
Except that you apparently the pay is not fantastic.
I mean, it doesn't have to be wonderful. That's what my partner's for.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, that's what I'm shooting for after I'm done with this year of college. So that's
Yeah.
what I have. Hopefully, the radio show stuff, which will. Apparently, Olivia is out of the radio station now, and they got Randall to replace him, which is just relevant for DJ me talking about. But yeah, I mean, we'll do the radio show again in the fall. Miguel, you're actually going to come on some of the shows, right?
Yeah, well, of course.
Good.
I need to set up my resume.
Well, no. I mean, why would we do that?
and
It's like
and
Apple.
Ryan,
This is the fastest phone we have ever made. So of course it is. Why would you say otherwise?
mhm. And Ryan Redpath is going to come on to take over your spot, DJ, since you're now back in filthy Virginia.
I gave him. It's West Virginia, by the way. Get
West
it right. We have.
Okay,
We have
okay.
Yeah, it's even worse than the regular Virginia.
Yeah.
And yeah, I actually gave him your number. So.
You bastard! No, that's all good. Yeah, he's been mailing me about stuff about that. So yeah, cool. Is there any other like new stuff people want to throw in at all, other than me saying, "Hey, Shovel Knight's great"? So.
I can't. think of
Half-Life
it.
3 confirmed.
Oh,
Really?
Right, because so on the Steam sale today thing where the whichever team won on the Steam sale, they have the pink team flipping over the table, and you can see the little ghosts are flying up from the regular table, and there are 3 ghosts. So Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Oh, okay. But I thought that Valve couldn't count to 3.
They can.
Not
They
even,
just.
not even the soldier can count to 3 in the latest movie thing.
That's right.
3 Days to Live. 1, 2. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be great?
Like,
Like,
Half-Life 3 came out. Yeah.
they just have to announce Half-Life 3, and everyone would be like building new computers and all over the Steam boxes and stuff like that. Like, you just have to say those 2 words, Half-Life 3.
I wonder
confirmed.
if this point, if it ever comes out on like the Source engine right now as we know it, or they make a new Source or a heavily modified Source engine for it.
I don't know. We just have to wait.
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, cool. So I think that's gonna do it. Normally, I'm too used to Trey right now for like giving me the regular spiel. If you want to check out more of our stuff, if you've managed to find your way to this video on YouTube, you can go to pixelloadout.blogspot.com. That's where we're posting a lot of our videos, a lot of our written work, including Miguel's recently updated stuff for how Final Fantasy PvP should work and PlayStation Plus lists. So that's what you should do. You should do the other half right now, DJ. You should do Games for Gold. Just
Games for Gold. I don't even have gold right now.
you can do it. You can do at the very top, a very passive aggressive. If I did have gold, this game would be all right. But because I don't,
I mean, I could do the Xbox games with gold too. It's not like I keep an eye on Xbox because I love seeing what they do differently, and I hope that these differences will come into like Sony and stuff.
I might pick up a month of gold for July just because if the Destiny beta does end up starting up in July, I'm going to have gold to play that.
Oh, they do have a list right now. It's Spartan Assault.
Yeah,
Max.
no, they've been really good about updating their list like at the top of the month when I did follow that stuff.
Is it just a few games and they're totally free?
Should be like 3 or 4.
I think it's 3 this year. Guacamelee this month, next month. Guacamelee is one of them. Is what I remember. Is all that I remember.
I can remember to put those up if you want me to.
Cool.
Can't
Just
hurt.
top of the month is when they should usually publish it. If you watch
Okay.
either Major Nelson's page or something like that, it should have it. So, yay! This has been part podcast, part business meeting. There you go. And now I can pay you all.
Everyone sees the workings.
I can pay you all the $0 that I owe you guys.
As long as it's all of them.
I want bitcoins.
There you go. Bitcoin, Dogecoin.
Pay me in Dogecoin. Yeah, Dogecoins, exactly.
Or pantaloons. You can pay me in pantaloons.
So money, much currency. Okay, that's all I got. So yeah, check us out on pixelloadout.com or subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave us some comments and such, and we'll probably try to do this again sometime next week.
All right.
Yeah, either on the weekend or Friday or something was fun. Hopefully I can get Trey to finally get a camera too and get more people on. So,
Yeah.
All right, you guys take care.
All right. Oh, by the way, I'm Miguel Torres. I didn't say that because I was too busy getting my laptop charger at the beginning of the show.
I'm Kevin Harrison.
I'm DJ.
God, y'all sound so excited.
Yeah.
I am excited.
All
I
right,
feel
bye.
like people should get to us, but yeah. Okay. See ya.